Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, a $400 million lawsuit, and a newcomer actress.
Sounds juicy.
It's total Hollywood drama. Today, we're going to deep dive into like all the twists and turns of this whole thing. And you might be surprised by what we uncover.
The actress who played the younger Blake Lively, right? In, what was it called?
It Ends With Us.
It Ends With Us, right. Okay, yeah, I remember that. So what's the scoop?
Well, so Ferrer's role in this whole mess has kind of like become almost as big a story as the lawsuit itself.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what do we have? What are we working with here?
Well, we've got these conflicting accounts from Ferrer herself. There's this massive lawsuit, and then, it's just a ton of speculation online.
Okay, so basically a whole lot of mess to unpack.
A whole lot of mess. So think of us as your, Hollywood detectives for the day. Our mission is to try and figure out what really happened.
And what it means for everyone involved, right?
Exactly. Okay, so let's start with the accusations against Blake Lively. The article kind of paints her as this, spotlight hogger, especially during, all the press stuff for the film.
Right. Okay, so what exactly are they saying?
Well, social media is, blowing up with all these clips of Lively, and she's, just dominating interviews, talking over Ferrer, barely giving her a chance to, get a word in edgewise.
Oh, yikes. That's not a good look.
No, not at all. And some people are even calling Lively embarrassing. I mean, one commenter said they'd never heard someone say so much and nothing at the same time.
Ouch.
Ouch is right. And I think that that contrast between, Lively just being so assertive and then Ferrer's, relative silence, that's really fueled a lot of this criticism online.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's it makes Lively look even worse, because you have this quiet newcomer next to her.
Exactly. Okay, but this is where it gets interesting. The article quotes this PR expert, Kara Schmeiman, and she's criticizing this whole idea of women being pitted against each other.
Right.
She says that this whole thing about women having to step on each other's toes to get ahead, that should be over.
That's a good point, I mean, has Hollywood really moved past that? I mean, it's such a common narrative.
Right. So is this just a case of Lively, falling back on, some outdated behavior? Or is there something else going on here?
Good question.
Well, the article also talks to another PR expert, Doug Eldridge. And he kind of suggests that maybe it wasn't intentional on Lively's part.
Oh, interesting. So what's his take?
Well, he points out that seniority often plays a role in these kinds of dynamics, especially during press events.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Blake Lively is basically a pro at this point, and Ferrer is brand new to all of this.
Exactly. So maybe she was, just trying to guide her through it, even if it ended up coming across a little overbearing.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, trying to help, but maybe not doing it in the best way. But then it gets even more complicated, right? Didn't Ferrer initially praise Lively?
She did. Yeah, despite all this criticism of Lively online, Ferrer initially seemed to really sing her praises in interviews. She even told People magazine that Lively was an angel.
Whoa, okay. Big difference.
Right, and that they formed this really close bond during filming.
So we have this positive public image, but then
bam. The article it drops this bombshell.
Hit me.
According to the lawsuit that Justin Baldoni filed, Ferrer allegedly sent him these text messages. And in the text, she was thanking him for, incredible experience.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and she was, praising his directing style.
Okay, so she's publicly praising Lively, but privately, gushing over Baldoni.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we have, a total contrast here.
Total contrast, and it feeds right into Baldoni's claims that Lively was manipulating the cast, trying to turn them against him.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is messy.
Very messy. Okay, so let's back up for a second. For those who haven't been following this whole saga, Baldoni is suing Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist for $400 million.
$400 million, wow. Okay, so what exactly is he suing them for?
He's alleging defamation and, get this, extortion.
Extortion, put the money in the bag kind of extortion.
Not exactly. So when we talk about extortion in this context, it's more about Baldoni's claiming that Lively threatened to damage his reputation if he didn't do what she wanted.
Okay, got it. Still super serious, though.
Super serious. And one of the main things that Baldoni says in the lawsuit is that Lively was she was encouraging other cast members, including Ferrer, to just like totally shun him.
Wow.
And the lawsuit even mentions that Ferrer unfollowed Baldoni on social media.
Oh, so they're using that as like evidence.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so that unfollow is like a much bigger deal now.
Right.
Okay, so where does Ferrer stand in all of this?
Well, the lawsuit specifically says that Ferrer only started, distancing herself from Baldoni after she'd spent like a lot of time with Lively during, all the promotion stuff for the film.
Oh, that's pretty damning if it's true. It makes it seem like Lively was definitely trying to influence Ferrer's behavior.
Right. So does that mean that Ferrer was like knowingly playing along? Or does she just like get caught up in something that she didn't really understand?
Hard to say.
Yeah. It's really hard to say without knowing, what was happening behind the scenes. But it just adds another layer of like complexity to this whole, tangled web.
Totally. So what happens to Ferrer now? I mean, it seems like she's kind of like collateral damage in this whole Hollywood feud.
Right, that's a great point, and it's something that we're definitely gonna explore more as we keep going with this deep dive.
All right, let's do it. I'm hooked.
Okay, so to recap, we have this PR battle going on, a massive lawsuit with some like seriously intense accusations, and this rising star who is caught right smack dab in the middle.
Yikes. What a situation.
Ready to dig a little deeper.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens to Ferrer. I mean, what are the experts saying?
I mean, there's that whole guilt by association thing in Hollywood, right?
For sure.
Like, even if she's not directly involved, how much does being connected to a scandal like this, like, actually affect someone's career?
Yeah, it's a real concern. I mean, casting directors and producers, they're always looking for talent, right? But they're also, like, super aware of public image.
Totally.
And even, like, just a hint of controversy, it can make them hesitate, especially with someone who's just starting out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the article, it actually mentions that Schmeiman, the PR expert we were talking about, she's actually, like, pretty optimistic about Ferrer's chances, her future.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She thinks that because Ferrer's performance in the film was so strong,
right,
that, like, as long as she keeps her statements consistent, like, she has to testify or anything, she should be fine.
Makes sense. I mean, if she comes across as genuine and, like, doesn't get involved in the, in the mudslinging, yeah, she could probably come out of this okay.
Right. But Eldridge, the other PR expert, he kind of offers a different perspective.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a little more cautious. He says that, like, if it turns out that Ferrer actually did have, more of an active role in this whole dispute, it could definitely hurt her image.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like a tough situation. Like, she's got to stay neutral, but also deal with, like, the expectations of these, powerful people.
Right. It's a tricky balance.
It is. The advice they gave her, though, to just, like, stay neutral, not take sides, that's probably the smartest move for now.
Yeah, you're probably right. And it really shows you how, like, complicated relationships are in Hollywood and, like, how much power dynamics come into play.
Oh, yeah, big time. And it also just, like, it highlights how perception is everything in this industry. I mean, it's all about image.
So true. And the article, it points out that Ferrer isn't the only one who's, like, kind of caught in the crossfire here.
Oh, right.
Alex Neustadter, who played the younger Atlas, so Lively's love interest, is getting a lot of attention, too, because they were often, like, paired together for those, promotional interviews.
Right, the ones where Lively was, allegedly taking over.
Exactly. So that puts him in a weird spot, too, right?
It does.
And we can't forget about Brandon Sklenar and Jenny Slate.
Oh, right. Sklenar played the older Atlas, and Slate was Baldoni's sister.
Right. And the PR experts, they seem to think that, like, they'll probably be fine. They have, more established careers.
Right. They've been around longer.
Yeah, but you still have to wonder if, like, all this drama surrounding the film, if it might make some people hesitant to, like, work with anyone who is involved, at least for a while.
Yeah, I could see that. It's definitely a risk, especially early in your career,
Yeah.
You don't want to be, like, defined by one project or, like, one controversy.
It's crazy, though, to think that, like, this legal battle between Lively and Baldoni basically, like, unintentionally pushed someone like Ferrer, who's, totally new to all of this, into the spotlight.
So true. Talk about trial by fire. It's a great example of like, even if you try to stay out of the drama, sometimes the drama just finds you.
Especially with social media.
Exactly. Things blow up so fast online.
So we talked about the fallout for Ferrer, but let's go back to those text messages for a sec. The ones between her and Baldoni, that came out, because of the lawsuit.
Oh yeah, the ones that were like, supposedly super friendly.
Yeah, what do you make of those? Yeah, they really complicate things, don't they?
For sure. I mean, they seem to like totally contradict the whole narrative that Lively's side is trying to, to push.
Totally. So in the lawsuit, Baldoni says that Ferrer basically like gushed about how great it was to work with him. She even called him wonderful, smart, and sincere.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That doesn't exactly fit with the idea that Baldoni created some like, hostile work environment, which is what Lively's team seems to be like hinting at.
Exactly. And remember how the lawsuit it points out that Ferrer only started, kind of distancing herself from Baldoni after spending time with Lively during like the promo stuff?
Right, during those press things, yeah.
That detail, if it's true, it really like adds to Baldoni's accusations, doesn't it?
It does, because it makes it seem like Lively was really like actively encouraging people to freeze Baldoni out, like almost trying to like manipulate how he's perceived by others.
It's like something out of a movie.
Seriously.
So what do you think? Do you think that that Ferrer was like in on it, or do you think that she got like pulled into something that she didn't really grasp?
It's so hard to say, honestly. I mean, it's possible that she just felt like she had to side with Lively, especially, considering how much power and influence Lively has.
Right.
And I mean, you gotta remember, this is like Ferrer's first big movie. It makes sense that she wouldn't want to like rock the boat. You know what I mean? Yeah,
totally. And the PR experts we talked to, they both seem to think that Ferrer's best move is just to like stay quiet, not get involved in this whole legal mess.
Smart. Yeah, taking sides publicly could like really backfire, especially if the lawsuit doesn't go the way she's hoping.
And let's be real, Lively and Reynolds are like a huge power couple.
Oh yeah.
Going up against them. I mean, that could be like really bad for someone like Ferrer.
No kidding. It'd be like a total David and Goliath situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should definitely be careful.
Okay, this is just wild. And I have a feeling that like we haven't even seen all the twists and turns yet.
Oh, for sure. There's going to be more. It'll be interesting to see like what happens in court and just, how everyone reacts, like the public and everyone.
This whole thing has really got me thinking, about how much control actors really have, like over how they're seen, especially when they get pulled into someone else's drama, especially legal drama.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, we live in this world where like social media just blows everything up,
Right.
Like the tiniest rumor can become a massive scandal like overnight, and reputations are made and broken so fast. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a little unsettling, honestly.
Yeah.
What advice would you what would you tell someone like Ferrer, someone who's like just starting out trying to build a career in this crazy environment?
Honestly, I'd say like focus on your work. Let your talent speak for itself, and like get a good team around you, people who have your back, and just remember that you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond to what happens to you.
That's great advice. This has been a fascinating deep dive, and I feel like we're going to be talking about this story for a while.
Definitely not over yet. All the makings of a classic Hollywood drama, for sure.
Well, that's it for our deep dive today, but we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this whole saga?
Let us know. We're really interested to hear what you think.